Hey everybody, hey Redeemer. I'm coming to you this Wednesday with a little talk about Mardi Gras. Yeah, it's a little early. It's not Mardi Gras this week. It's Mardi Gras next week. But I wanted to talk a little bit about why we do it. Why is it a thing? And it's because we sort of need to. Now, what is Mardi Gras? Well, in this part of the country, we celebrate the night before Ash Wednesday, the right up leading into Lent, um, with a festival that we call Mardi Gras. This has to do with the French settlers who came into the Mobile region and celebrated Mardi Gras, and then of course it transferred long and wide across the coast. And typically, when we think of Mardi Gras, we think of New Orleans. But if you go back historically, it was actually first celebrated in Macomb, in Mobile, and Mobile to this day still has a very strong connection with Mardi Gras. Um, Mardi Gras is French for Fat Tuesday. And so, what is Fat Tuesday? It There's a lot of history involved, but a very compressed version would be the Greco-Roman, or I guess the Roman festival of Saturnalia was a big raucous feast of excess that was celebrated around the winter solstice, which would have been December 25th on the Julian calendar. Christmas sort of took over that spot, and so that form of celebration was just sort of drug out toward what would then become the eve before Ash Wednesday. And it served kind of a practical purpose, is that because with Ash Wednesday and the beginning of Lent, people were renouncing luxury items. They were living a simple kind of penitential season where they voluntarily gave up or abstained from luxury things. Now, hundreds of years ago, this would have been, your sweet cakes and your treats and your fatty treats and breads and things. And so you had to essentially use up the rest of your cooking lard. And so you would bake cakes and treats and things, or you would, for example, make pancakes. That's why in a lot of other parts of the country and the world, it's not called Mardi Gras. It's called Pancake Tuesday or Shrove Tuesday. And so you would have pancakes because you're getting rid of the cooking fat in your house, because during Lent you're going to be eating humble, scant meals that help you reflect upon the journey of Lent. And so that is sort of the bare bones, the most simple explanation for Mardi Gras. But it's not just New Orleans or Mobile that celebrates this. Different names for the same kind of celebration are all over the world. I've already mentioned Shrove Tuesday, Pancake Tuesday, Mardi Gras, or just Fat Tuesday in English, but also Carnival, which is popular in Italy. They have their own version of it. Of course, Brazil is very well known for its version of Carnival, and it has to do with eating meat. Carnival would be literally translates to consuming or getting rid of meat. So you're eating all the fatty, rich meat because you're going to be abstaining from meat during Lent. And you can think of, especially if you grew up Catholic or you grew up in a Catholic rich area, you would you would always eat fish on Fridays. So that would be kind of where you get your protein in on Friday. And that became so ubiquitous that it sort of became its own, like fish on Fridays became its own self-sustained thing, even though it was really more of a religious observance, a dietary observance, especially surrounding Catholic families. And so why do we call it Shrove Tuesday? Well, it comes from the word shrive, which means to administer confession, or to absolve oneself, or to be absolved. So you would during Lent you'd be going to confession a lot, and especially like in preparation of Ash Wednesday, that might be a time to do confession. And so the Shrove Tuesday would be the day before you would shrive yourself, you would confess, you would absolve. Um, and again, you're kind of ridding your larder, ridding your pantry of your luxury items. You're getting rid of them because you're not going to be able to keep them over the long Lent without using them. Um, and so again, we have in this region we have king cakes, which is very popular. Um, though that descends from lots of traditional pastries that different regions have their own thing. Like in Italy, it's kind of a stocking shape, reminiscent of a Christmas stocking, reminiscent of gifts that the kings give Jesus. And so then you would have little trinkets associated with that, or stuck in like a coin or something, or a little bauble would be put in that cake. And that's where we get the little baby in our king cake, is that you would have a little baby, which must be Jesus, and you'd stick it in the cake. Odd that we're having a cake with a little baby Jesus in it, but there you go. Um, and so that's where our, our Gulf Coast king cake comes from, is that kind of sweet bread confectionery. There's a fried version that's indicative of Quebec and Canada, and then down here we tend to decorate our cakes in green, purple, and gold. And after the fact, those colors have been given significance. For example, some say that the purple stands for justice, and the green stands for faith, and the gold stands for power, and it's all about a reflection of Jesus's, earthly power. Um, yeah, I mean, possible. I tend to think that those those definitions were labeled after the fact. But I mean, hey, as long as I got sprinkles on my king cake, I'm happy. Um, and so that's why there is a king cake season. Pretty much any time from Epiphany with the wise men all the way through Fat Tuesday is sort of king cake season in the South, and I am a big fan of that. But all that is the trappings of Mardi Gras. Um, what I appreciate about this season, and I guess my meditation for today, is that it is a celebration that is not actually celebrating anything. There is no event that we are excited about that we are celebrating. Unlike Christmas, which has a definite reason for the celebration, the nativity of Christ. Easter is a celebration because we are marking the risen Lord. Um, Mardi Gras doesn't actually celebrate a thing. It's sort of a celebration that arises from the negative space of Lent and Ash Wednesday. So because you're about to stop doing all these luxurious things, whether it's parties or consuming spirits or eating fatty foods, rich foods, because you're about to abstain from all those things, we have to get it out of our system, so to speak. We have to go ahead and bake up our cakes and our pancakes and whatnot. And that's interesting because it's not a celebration about the day itself. Um, it's actually a preparation for a change of season, just like you would prepare for winter by preparing firewood and splitting wood, or as the fable goes, putting your acorns away for winter. That is essentially what we're doing, but it's the inverse of that. We're getting rid of the excess we have because we're about to start going lean. Um, and I really like that. Now, obviously, modern day has morphed the religious observance into its own standalone holiday. So there's Mardi Gras is there for the sake of Mardi Gras, especially like in places like New Orleans. Um, and yet at the same time, um, I lost my train of thought. um, we it has become a self-sustaining holiday for the sake of doing it. Much like, you know, Valentine's Day is its own self-perpetuating holiday that really has nothing to do with Saint Valentine at all. So I find it fun when people talk about, oh, well, Valentine's Day. Oh, you mean Saint Valentine's Day? Um, anyway, yeah, it's taken on a life of its own, and doesn't have any uh, actual connection to the simulacra of its, or it's become a simulacra of its original intended origin point. Um, so anyway, that's Mardi Gras. Should we celebrate it? Absolutely. Should we have pancake suppers and whatnot? Absolutely. Um, I think that it is good and healthy to kind of get it all out of your system and kind of shake it all out before we start in earnest a prayerful and holy Lent. And so go out and have some fun, eat some king cake, wear some beads, wear some purple, green, and gold. Um, do all those great things. I love Mardi Gras, but I love that it's not actually a celebration of itself. It is just a response to the negative space that is not Ash Wednesday. It's not Lent. It's everything that Ash Wednesday and Lent are not. It's the negative of it. Anyway, so that's my little quick meditation for y'all. I hope you have a great Mardi Gras season. If you're going to pop down to New Orleans, or if you did this past weekend, I hope you had fun. I hope you got back safe. And as always, dear ones, God bless.